Hey guys, Cryptid Zach here, for all things strange and mysterious. Have you ever noticed that most high-rises and hotels don't have a 13th floor? And Apollo 13 was the only manned mission to the moon that didn't make it? Well, think about Friday the 13th. Friggatriskaidekaphobia is the technical term for Friday the 13th, and psychologists think over 21 million people suffer from this phobia. And the US economy loses $1 billion every Friday the 13th because people won't leave home to work, shop, or travel. Joining me today to discuss this phobia is University of Cryptozoology professor Mark Anthony. Mark, is 13 really an unlucky number? And is Friday the 13th really a cursed day?
Well, Zach, the number 13 has been considered cursed for centuries, and our journey to understand why takes us back 1,000 years in time to the Crusades and the Knights Templar. Now, the Knights Templar were a secretive religious military unit. They were sort of the special forces of the crusading armies. But one thing they understood was the cost of financing a war. And that's why the Knights Templar founded the first international banking system. And what they started doing is loaning money to European kings and to the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope. And they charged interest on those loans.
Wasn't charging interest on loans considered the sin of usury in medieval Europe?
Yes, it was. And that's what brings us to King Philippe IV of France and Pope Clement V. They were the two most powerful rulers in Europe and up to their eyeballs in debt to the Knights Templar. The Grand Master of the Knights Templar, Jacques de Molay, may have been a religious man, but he wasn't very forgiving, especially when it came to debt repayment.
So how did King Philippe and Pope Clement get rid of their debts to the Knights Templar?
By getting rid of the Knights Templar. On Friday, October 13th, in the year 1307, in a massive coordinated raid, Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Knights Templar, and 60 of his top knights were arrested by the French army. They were charged by the Pope with witchcraft, heresy, homosexuality, and usury.
Let me guess. Instead of trial, they all confessed after being tortured on the rack, the Iron Maiden, thumb screws, and hot pokers.
Exactly. And because they were convicted of witchcraft, they were sentenced to be burned to death at the stake. Jacques de Molay, he was burned to death before the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And as the flames engulfed his body, he cried out that King Philippe and the Pope will see me before God. Within a month, Pope Clement dropped dead, presumably of a stroke. A few months after that, King Philippe was accidentally killed in a hunting accident.
Those are just coincidences, aren't they?
Are they? Many people believe that Jacques de Molay was in league with the devil and invoked the power of Satan to strike down the all-powerful King of France and the head of the Catholic Church. The curse of Friday the 13th spread like wildfire throughout Europe. A few years later, in England, even Geoffrey Chaucer wrote in his masterpiece, The Canterbury Tales, that Friday the 13th was a cursed day, and the fear grew into legend, and the legend into a superstition which lives with us to this day.
Friday the 13th was definitely an unlucky day for the Knights Templar, not to mention the King and Pope who conspired against them. But how do you feel about Friday the 13th? Feel free to DM me about your Friday the 13th stories.